32 teams competing for the title of world's greatest. And more importantly, a whole load of money. I've gone through quite a few matches of the brand new and possibly improved FIFA Club World Cup. And maybe, just maybe after listening to me go over some of the games, you'll be convinced that waking up at 2 in the morning to watch Botafogo versus Seattle Sounders is worth it. Because I genuinely think that the Club World Cup isn't as bad as you might think. But the opening match didn't do a very good job at proving that. At least at face level. You see, tournament hosts Inter Miami went up against Egyptian side Ahly, the most decorated club, not just in Africa, but in football, against the club with the greatest of all time, Leo Messi, who is essentially the only reason why Inter Miami are even in the Club World Cup. But rather than some battle of the greats with loads of goals to kick off the tournament, like many would have liked, the game ended goalless. Not exactly how you want to start a tournament, which a lot of people aren't even excited for. Yet despite this, I actually think the match was pretty interesting. After the players walked out one at a time, like FIFA packs, Ahly would immediately be on the attack. They dominated the first half, getting loads of chances to score, including a penalty. But just like he had done with every other chance, 38-year-old Argentine Oscar Usari, I think I said that right, would save a penalty from Trezeguet, giving Inter Miami something to build on going into the second half. And that's exactly what they did, because in the second half, Inter Miami would be the team getting most of the chances. But it would be Ahly keeper Mohamed Al Shinawi's, I'm sure I got that right, turn to shine. Literally, in the final moments of the game, he broke his back, saving a crazy shot from Messi. Overall, there were tons of chances in this match, and if you really think about it, the only difference between chances and goals is the reactions of players and fans. This draw, as well as the draw between Palmeiras and Porto, means that Group A is still wide open, which should make the later matches more interesting. You always gotta look at the bright side. Although that's pretty hard to do in the case of a massacre. German giants Bayern Munich went up against the 12-time Club World Cup participants, which is the record, by the way, New Zealand's Auckland City. And oh yeah, they're also an amateur club, meaning that most of the players have full-time jobs outside of football. Some of Auckland's players didn't even travel to America because they couldn't get off work. Just the fact that there's an amateur side in the Club World Cup doesn't give the competition a good look at all. And the fact that Bayern smashed them 10-0 makes it look even worse.
You started off celebrating the first few goals. It got less and less celebratory during the game. Did you feel a little bit bad for Auckland? Because obviously you were so much stronger than your opponents.
Nope.
But honestly, I don't think I can call this a flaw of the Club World Cup. Auckland City earned their spot by being the best club in the OFC. And if FIFA didn't put an OFC team in the Club World Cup, well, that just wouldn't be inclusive. Auckland have been here numerous times, and let's not pretend like smaller teams don't consistently get walloped by bigger teams in the UCL. Really, FIFA's only mistake was allowing them to be in a group with a well-known small team murderer, Bayern Munich. The most shocking part of this match was that despite Bayern scoring 10 goals, the striker Harry Kane didn't score or assist a single goal. Once again, not showing up in the big games. That's Harry Kane for you. Now, let's talk about a match which truly embodies what the Club World Cup is about. No, not PSG versus Atletico Madrid. Atletico are still absolutely woeful. And I'm talking about Brazilian side Botafogo versus American side Seattle Sounders. Botafogo were the favorites, and they proved why they were by scoring 2 first-half goals. One of them being from Igor Jesus, who celebrated by hitting the Kamehameha. I'm sorry. Seattle had tons of opportunities, which they should have scored, proving that the MLS does have some quality. Not really in the back though. Like all of the MLS clubs have a shite defense. Seattle eventually got one back in the 76th minute from a Cristiano Ronaldo header, though it was too late. But this game looked like a proper back and forth between teams that would never normally play each other. And that's exactly what I like about the Club World Cup. And yet, the next game did it even better. Argentina's Boca Juniors versus Portugal's Benfica. This match was packed with action. First, Ander Herrera suffered an injury in the 20th minute, forcing him to leave the pitch, although he would come back later, in a different way. Right after the injury, Boca went up a goal via Miguel Merentiel, which they doubled only 6 minutes later, thanks to Bataglia. But then, with Balda watching, the Argentine boys, Di Maria and Otamendi, knew they had to step up for him. Otamendi won a pretty light penalty in the 44th minute, though I do still think it's a penalty. You can't put your foot that high, nowadays at least. Ander Herrera, remember him, he believed that Benfica didn't deserve a penalty, and decided that pulling up to the VAR TV thingy to argue with the ref was a good idea. Was it though? No. He got a red card, which will cause him to miss 4 matches, if Boca even make it that far. Still, this shows that players do care about the Club World Cup. So if they do, why don't fans? Herrera's complaints were all in vain, as Benfica got the penalty, and Di Maria rolled it into the back of the net to make it 2-1. Then in the second half, the ref found himself back at the VAR TV thingy to check Andreas Belletti's foul on Arten Costa, which would end up being another red card. Benfica go down to 10 men and still get the equalizer in the 84th minute with an Otamendi header. 2-2. And to finish up the game, Jorge Figal got the third and final red card of the match. So now tell me, is this game not worth staying up for? Maybe not, since sleep is important, but it does go to show that the Club World Cup has potential. If we're just speaking football-wise, the Club World Cup does have a lot of good football on display, and that's all any football fan can ask for, right? The only real problem I think the tournament has is that it's held in the US. Also, the atmosphere in a lot of the matches isn't very good, but having big competitions like this in the US is how the country needs to build its football culture, especially if the World Cup is going to be here next year. But what do you think? Is the new Club World Cup really that bad? Let me know down in the comments, and consider liking and subscribing as well to push this video in my channel. Adios.